Hello. This is the Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Thursday, May 12th, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So, I'm just leaving the college. And the reason is because today was grad fair. And so, it's getting real. Getting real, yo! Picked up my cap and gown, which, of course you have to pay for, and got the tickets. So, yeah, it's starting to feel like a thing that's actually going to happen. Oh, yeah. What I thought I'd talk about today is in my odd minutes here and there, I've been watching a bit of gameplay for this game called Journey. And the guy who did it, his name is, I think it's Ghost Robo, all one word. And the one thing I liked about him is that he really got into the aesthetic of the game. And he really enjoyed it for what it was. And he wasn't like trying to compare it to other games. This is kind of boring or whatever. He really got into it. I was looking for another game to watch that was just beautiful and simple, kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest. And I came across this Journey. And in it, you play this guy. At the beginning, he's got like this brown robe on, and he's got these yellow glowing eyes. And my initial first thought was, Jawa, as you do. But he's on the sand. It's all sand. There's just sands and dunes everywhere. But then he stands up, and he's got, underneath his robe, he's got legs that actually, he's taller than that. And so the whole thing is you're going on this journey, and you start off and you're in this land of sand and dunes, and every so often there are ruins. And there's no battle mechanic, there's no battling. There are these glowing glyphs you have to find that will give you power-ups, in the sense of you've got this little scarf that kind of trails behind you, and there are like runes, not ruins, that's different, runes on the scarf that glow when it's charged up, and that gives you the ability to jump for longer periods of time. And as you find these little glowing glyphs, it'll add to your scarf, which of course will then add to your jump time. And as you're going through these ruins, in some places there'll be like these little, they're almost like, just imagine this little whirlwind of papers. But they're made out of the same material as a scarf, and if you have this ability to do like emit a pulse, where you hit whatever key and this pulse comes out, and that will do several things. First of all, if there are some of these paper guys there, they will come to you and they will charge up your scarf. Also, if you like pulse and then jump, they will come to you and they will buoy you up. They will lift you up and allow you to do an even better jump. And so you're going over dunes and you're trekking, you're trying to get to the far, far distance. There's this mountain with like a split peak and this really bright light to it, and you're trying to get to that mountain. And so you're going through these things, and you're finding places where you can activate more of these little floating paper things. You've got these things that are kind of like like a manta ray or something. But imagine they're made out of this, and the scarves and things are all kind of this burgundy color. And so just imagine these like mantises are just flying, and they'll come to you, and it's the same type of thing. They'll charge you up and they'll take you further. And in some places you'll just have these big ribbons that might be able to just let you kind of sail up them. Or there's a couple places where you've got ruins of like a bridge, and so there's like a pier and a pier and a pier, and it's too far to jump. But when you get there, if you do your pulse, it'll build a ribbon bridge from one to the next. And then when you go on it, you kind of just like fly along the ribbon to get from one to the other. It is a gorgeous game. There's no speaking in it. There's some really nice music that goes along with the aesthetic. And the graphics are just gorgeous. One of the things that's kind of cool is, you know, it's not a boundless world. Some of the levels are smaller and some of the levels are bigger. You know, like some of the smaller levels were ones where you were kind of in a canyon, I guess I'll say. So you had rock all around you, so there's no limits where you can go. But some of the larger ones were quite big, and the way they did the boundaries was cool. Because a lot of games, you get to the boundary, even if it looks like it goes on forever, you get to the boundary and you just stop and you're done. And this did it where when you're getting close to the boundary, this wind would start up, and you know, the sand's starting to blow at you, and when you get to the point where you're at the boundary, the wind will stop you and actually make you fall backwards a little bit. And I thought that was a really unique way to enforce a boundary, but yet not just have it, you know, you stop, your character stop, and some text pop up that says you can't go any further in this direction. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really neat. I enjoyed that. And the other thing that's unique about this is that it tells the story through pictures. At various points and to various levels, there's these little places where you will activate. You get these little pylons, and you activate all the pylons, and it will show you a picture of like the plot of like where you're going next, what's going next, what to look for next. And so the whole story is told in pictures. And then when you get to the end of the level, there is this thing that's kind of like a triangular obelisk, I guess, you know, and it's got some of these little pylons near it, and it'll also have a set of indicator lights that will tell you how many glyphs were in that level and how many you got. So if you see 4 of these little lights, but only 3 of them are lit, there's 4 glyphs in that level, you got 3 of them. So you can then at that point turn around and go find the missing glyph if you want, or you can just, you know, you activate the pylons kind of like you do, and you do it through using your pulse, and that lights them up, and then your character will kind of sit down in front of this obelisk, and you'll have a vision of the guy called him the Watcher, but you know, kind of like a really tall version of yourself that looks at you and then emits a pulse, and that makes your scarf grow longer yet, and then you move on to the next level. When you get toward the end, you're not in sand anymore, and the mechanic of moving through the sand looked like a lot of fun. I mean, your little guy will run through it for you, and you can obviously jump fly. Come on, wake up. You can jump fly if you want, but when you're going kind of downhill, you can just kind of like skate along the dunes, and you just kind of skate along, almost like you're, I don't know, like you're skiing, but you know, you don't have skis on sand, and that looked like a lot of fun. And then later on, you're in a snowy area, and that was like the only thing that had like a boss. And most of it's like a puzzle game. You need to figure out what to do to get someplace there are certain things you could do to free more of the little manta ray guys or the paper guy, little paper floaty paper guys. Toward the end, there's like these dragons that are hunting for people like you, and you don't really fight them, you just have to avoid them. If they see you, they will hurt you. It didn't seem possible for it to actually kill you, but the graphics were just stunning. And you know, the other thing that was fun about it was that this was a PlayStation 3 game. And this is one of the things that sucks about it, because it's just a PlayStation 3 game. It's a Sony game. So if you have Xbox, like I do, you're SOL. You don't get to play Journey. Because I was thinking this would be a fun game to play. It's relatively short, but one of the things that's kind of cool is that it links people up, you know, so they can work together on some of these things. Now, I don't know that you necessarily need to have somebody on most of these things. You don't necessarily have to work together, but it'll link you up, and there'll be some different. They all look pretty much the same little guy, but there might be some differences in like the fringe on the robe or something along those lines. And you know, you can't talk to this person, you can't chat with this person, you don't know who this person is. They're nameless. The only thing you can do is use your pulse. And it does encourage cooperativeness, because if there's two of you, you know, one person's pulse will charge the other person's scarf, and another so you can charge each other's scarf by pulsing back and forth at each other, which can be nice if there's like not any of the paper guys or the other things that will charge your pulse, your scarf. So this is just a really cool game, and it was fun to watch. I'll try to find. He didn't have like a playlist of it, but I'll try to find like the link to. I'll find the link to episode 1. How's that? I'll put that in the show notes. And what's kind of cool is at the end, when you've made it all the way to the end, they show the mountain, and like this streak of light comes, and I'm not totally sure what the streak of light's supposed to be doing, but it's taking you back through everything you went through. Everything that you saw is taking you back through it. And at the end, it takes you right back where you started, and then and then you're there in the sun. You're looking, and you got the dune, and you got kind of some of these, a couple of these little pieces of metal stuck in the sand with some fabric scars hung off of it, and they're kind of blowing in the breeze, and the sun starts to come up, and it says New Journey, so you can play it again if you want. It's a relatively short game, but it looked like one that I don't know if it will vary the landscape a bit from time to time. But one of the cool things is, as this light was going along, it was actually the credits for the game. But one of the things it showed you here's who you encountered during the game, and it gave you everybody's got like this 4 icon rune that's assigned to them, and it gives you their rune and their username. So over the course of playing these, it probably took him, as far as playing time, there were like 6 episodes of no more than half an hour each. So it's not a very long game. So he probably did like 2.5, 3 hours tops on playing through this thing, and he encountered like 9 people. But yeah, if you like a pretty game, and I enjoyed the guy's commentary, and it was really just gorgeous, and it was just a nice simplistic game where there's no big time pressures, and there's no combat at all, and what little interaction there is is cooperative, and you can just do what you want to do, and you can explore, and you can run around, and you can play with the little, paper guys and the manta ray guys, and it was just fun, and it was really beautiful too. So just a simple concept, just done spectacularly. So I guess that's all I got to talk about today. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be talking to you then. So, be seeing you.